Xoliswa seriously in the very early years. Some of you will remember that myself, Ndigi, Dinga, Waile, were the staff members who were, what's the term? There's a nice term, deployed to the United Front at its formation, right, to drive the national coordination. There were a few women who came through from different areas. I'm just going to mention a few because I'm not going to mention a lot of people. Oli was among those very first women who frequented our offices, both in Bree Street and in Elof Street. It was Comrade Xoliswa, it was Nomthandazo from the East Rand, it was Pili from Soweto, Pili Dladla, it was Ntokozo from, she was from Alexander with Sis Lulama and Sis Tembela. Now, Ndigi will remember there were a lot of activists that we brought together, and we had no money. Most of the people were drinking alcohol, and they were horrible, to say the least. He went. He bought us the best cups ever. No one has those cups in Nomsa nationally. And those were the cups for our tea. And some teaspoons that were long, because the cups were this long. And Xoliswa said, oh, I wouldn't want to be married to a man like this. He knows too much about crockery. Okay, so that's just a joke, right, that happened between the two of them. But what I see of Xoliswa myself in the later years as she joined Nomsa, as Comrade Christine referred to her, I refer to Xoliswa as my go-to mobilizer extraordinary. Xoliswa is one of those comrades, and I wish politicians, including anyone of you who's here, who aspire for political office. Xoliswa was good at under-promising and over-delivering. When you said to Xoliswa, fill a combi with activists, you will say, yes, but you're giving me a short notice, but I'll definitely deliver. The next thing that you get from Xoliswa, she hits you with a budget with all the names, and now she wants 3 combis. And she will give you the names and the coordinator for each of the combi, because she knew that she had done her work. And if we could learn from that and carry on that culture, we will do well. And I also do want to say also, Connie referred to the total shutdown. One moment of Oli's ability to mobilize came in July 2019, 2018, right? Get approached by activists. There was a debate in Nomsa. Do we support this initiative? Don't we support this initiative? They're saying women only. Finally, we won. We are supporting this initiative. Gender-based violence is too big an issue for us to bicker about who is involved and who is not involved. We're joining it. We will debate the rest later. We needed to turn union buildings into bodies, warm bodies of women. And I reached out to Xoliswa and Tembela and I said, how many buses can you fill for me? And I told them that I would prefer that we cover Broncos Spring, and there's another town next to it. Is it Winterfell? Yeah, what another town there? I tell you, in 4 days, we had exactly 4 days. They gave me names and we filled 4 buses. In fact, they asked for extra buses, but we didn't have the money for extra buses. So there are still women in Broncos who are very angry with us because they wanted to join, but they couldn't get into the bus. They couldn't fit in, and they were left behind. We were getting calls throughout the day when we were here at the Union Building. That was good. The next incident, I'm going just to pick a few over the years. There are far too many. You all know them. Was an issue that we're no longer proud of, but yes, we did organize for Comrade Christine. Should I mention? That was the UNISA story. Let's just leave it at that. And by the way, Xoliswa saying is now a big supporter of Nangwagwa. She's the convener of the Nangwagwa faction in South Africa.
Wow.
So this Nangwagwa of Zimbabwe. Right? So
Wow.
we just leave it at that. The next one, we had an activist of the SRWP in Rustenburg who had been murdered. And we really needed to show our support because we always drew a lot of support from the United Front and the SRWP. And it was our turn as NUMSA to show up for the SRWP. And I said, Xoliswa, we need to navigate this nicely. There must be a fair balance between the United Front and NUMSA, but we want to overwhelm the numbers as NUMSA. And Xoliswa again delivered on that, on the NUMSA side, together with Shame. They were amazing. Shaw said, I always used to fight with you when we were doing that economics diploma course, but you also delivered greatly on that one, because we wanted to show the SRWP, you know, this fight that often happens between the pirates and chiefs. We wanted to show the SRWP that we are our children. So we needed the numbers, and so we delivered. So that was Xoli. So I want to go back to the moment I had the first time that Xoli was unwell. It was about 3 weeks ago. I phoned the office, Ino answered. And Ino just went for me and said, Sister Ntokozo, we've been thinking of talking to you because we're trying to get hold of Xoli, and Xoli is not answering our calls, our WhatsApp, and anything. And I said, oh, what happened? And she then tells me, oh, you didn't know. And I really didn't know that Xoli was hospitalized. So I had lots of messages that I sent to Xoli. I said, Xoli, even if you send us a message that says, I'm still okay, that will be enough. At this point, Ino and Rebecca are in a state of panic because you're not answering any one of us. And that was the end. And after that, it's the message that I got from Comrade Christine that says, Comrade Xoli has transitioned. Now, I am happy. Those that are on my contact list, I see that they have Xoli's picture in their profile. I posted on Facebook at the time that a certain celebrity passed away, and I was quite irritated because I almost got a feeling that there is a tendency in South Africa to make other loss of life more important than others. And I wrote, I like poetry. I quoted a certain poem. And I've done it, but I'm not going to say who the poet is because I've kind of messed up with it in order to drive the message. Some die of natural causes, some die in a tragic way, without respect for the power of wealth, of the office you hold, and without respect for fame. But for every single one of us, the final night and end day is guaranteed. Death treats everyone as the same. So we must remember that. Whether it's the sweeper who has lost his or her life, it's the loss to his or her family. And we must stop this thing of making another loss bigger than the other, more profound than the other. Everybody is loved. Everybody has got space and certain attachment to certain people in his or her community, including her family. I'm going to pretend as if all his family is here, but also we spend a lot of our time in work and its related activities. So you are also his family by extension. So if anything that we need to be reminded of as